G'day folks, my name is John. Welcome to Gear Obsessed. Today I wanted to talk to you about the Fujifilm X100 VI camera, which is an upgrade from the X100V. And I just wanted to discuss with you, is this camera just a glorified point and shoot camera, or is there more to it? I mean, if you look at it, aesthetically it's beautiful. It has all the retro style designs, and it's very easy to use. It has all the dials on the top of it, so you can change your shutter speed, your ISO, and your aperture on the actual front of the lens dial. So it's convenient, and it looks similar to the retro cameras of the past, like the film cameras that I was privileged enough to shoot with over 20 years ago. One amazing upgrade is that it now has the XT5's 40 megapixel X-Trans 5 sensor. So this camera, you can now crop your images. It's really handy if you're taking street shots and the shot is kind of wide and you'd just like to crop in slightly. You can without much loss of image quality, as opposed to the 26 megapixel sensor that you had before on the X100V. Also, with the new upgrade, we are finally getting 6 stops, I believe, of IBIS. That's handy if you're shooting videos handheld, because the previous model it wasn't really stable, so it was very hard to hold it in your hand and take videos with it, whereas with the 6 stops of IBIS, a huge improvement. We're also getting a new autofocusing system, because this camera's main engine is based on the Fujifilm X-T5, which is its big brother. The video features are very similar, so you're getting up to 6.2K video at 30 frames per second. So it's capable of 60 frames per second in 4K, which is really handy if you need to slow down the motion. You create those smooth effects. And this is all done in the latest 10-bit video, so you're getting a huge gamut of colors in your videos, whereas the previous model was only 8-bit. Now the IBIS for video is amazing, because it does allow you to handhold this camera and take quite nice videos. So thanks to the film resurgence of the past few years, film cameras are very popular nowadays, and film photography is gaining a lot of popularity. It's not helping that film prices are quite high, which is why a lot of people are looking for alternatives that will give you a similar sort of look and feel like film, but not exactly. You can't replicate film itself, like the aesthetic, the way it looks, the halations, it's just a different feel to it. Like when you shoot film, it just gives you that nostalgia that you can't replicate really with digital, but you can come really close. This camera has 20 built-in Fujifilm simulations that are based on film stock of the past that Fujifilm produced, and they're really, really nice. They're not just filters, they're actually baked into the JPEGs, and you get a unique look. Why these cameras are so popular? Because you can shoot film or similar to film without the need, all the cost involved in buying the film, the processing, the scanning, and things like that. So that's the advantage. And look at it, it's just gorgeous. It's such a beautiful camera. I love mine. I had the X100V before, but unfortunately I sold it, and I was kicking myself. And then of course I couldn't buy it back, because there was no demand, and if you wanted one you had to pay through the roof to get one. So I decided to use other Fujifilm cameras like the X-T32 until the release of the X100 VI. But having said that, even when it was released, I didn't place an order immediately. I waited for a while. I thought, oh, there should be plenty of stock around. Boy, was I wrong. The demand on this thing is just staggering. I mean, I think there's like 500,000 orders that have been placed on this camera at this stage, and back orders, especially in some of the larger retailers in the United States, are like up until Christmas time. So it's like, if you want one, you better get in quick, because at the moment, I mean, I placed my order a month later, and through an Australian retailer, a smaller one, albeit a well-known one, and it took me about 3 months, and I was badgering them every month to find out, has my camera come in yet, until they got sick and tired of me. And about 2 weeks ago I got an email and it said, guess what, your camera's here. And I was stoked. So I of course, next day I couldn't sleep. The next day I went to the shop and picked it up. I've been using it ever since. It's a beautiful camera. Is it worth the wait? Is it worth the purchase? Oh, in my opinion, absolutely, yeah. It does have a lot of features that make it such a wonderful camera. But it's not without its flaws. I mean, the one thing that I found about it that I don't like is the sound of the shutter. It's very, very low, so sometimes you can barely hear it. You don't know whether you've taken a photo or not, and it's a bit annoying. It's great for street photography when you want to remain discreet, so you're just out there taking photos and no one can hear that you're taking photos, because it's virtually like a silent shutter. It's like a little... You can't really hear it. Another disadvantage which I found out in video is that sometimes you get a bit of a rolling shutter, so you have to watch out when you have things in the scene that's fast moving, like fast moving people, or it does create like a rolling shutter type of effect, and it's quite bad. So have to be mindful that that may be the case if you're using this camera for video. But I have taken a couple of videos with it, and they were quite superb. Yeah, if it's not a fast moving object, if it's a slow moving object, or it's you know, people, as long as it's not crazy like sports and stuff, it does a fairly good job. So who's this camera for? Who's the X100 VI for? Well, it depends. I mean, if you're happy with a fixed lens camera, because it has a 23mm fixed lens, which is the equivalent of a 35mm in full frame terms. If you're happy with that focal length, because you won't be able to change it and you'll have to zoom in with your feet, then this camera is perfect. It's great for travel, it's great for street photography. It's very handy because you've got those built-in video features and the ND filter. You can use it whether you're a beginner or a professional. In fact, a lot of professionals are buying them, even though they may be using like a Nikon system or a Sony or Canon for their professional work. When they're out and about with family, with friends, and they're just leisure time, this camera is a camera of choice for many of them, because it allows them to put it all, whether they want to put it all in automatic mode or shoot it at aperture priority or shutter priority, they can. And it's such a handy small package. You don't have to worry. It's got that fixed lens, so you don't have to worry about changing lenses and things like that. You just pop it out. You can take beautiful photos, beautiful video. It's just a really versatile little small camera if you're happy with the fixed lens and you sort of get used to it. For beginners, it is quite recommended as well, because you can learn the exposure triangle. You've got the shutter speed dial, you've got the aperture settings and the ISO all on top. You don't have to go into the menus. You can quickly learn the exposure triangle. It's great because it gives you the ability to learn how to shoot with the one focal length, because you don't have an option. So you get to know the 35mm focal length off by heart. Now you can buy a 28mm, like a conversion lens, and then it'll create a 28mm focal length. They also sell the 50mm, but I find it's a bit front heavy, so it makes the camera a bit heavier. But it's still an option if you prefer to shoot in 50mm. However, I would argue that why not just get like an XT50 or an XT5, a camera that you can change the lens on, because it's going to be a bigger camera, so it sort of defeats the purpose. I can do more videos for you in the future regarding comparisons of the X100 VI to other cameras, including the X100 V. If you're interested, please let me know in the comments, and I'll certainly pop up some videos of some comparisons with other small type of cameras. All in all, I highly recommend this camera. I am a Fuji fanboy, true, but I have owned so many different cameras, and even though I'm not a professional photographer, I'm a huge enthusiast of cameras and such, and I do love my street photography. If you've enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you would hit the thumbs up and like the video, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.